My name is Alan Otaro. I am the Executive Director of the Catholic Youth Network for Environmental Sustainability in Africa, CYNESA. I'm very happy to be here at the Vatican on this International Laudato Si conference, which marks the third anniversary of this important document. I've been able to share with the participants here the impact and challenges of Laudato Si for me as an individual, but also for the work that I do with my colleagues back in Kenya, but also in the other African countries where we are present. Africa is one of the youngest continents, and in Laudato Si, Pope Francis asked us to reflect on the question that young people demand and wonder how anyone can claim to be building a better world without thinking of the environmental crisis and the sufferings of the excluded. And I find that in this conference, the environmental crisis and the sufferings of the excluded are some of the two key themes that are coming out from the different presentations, whether we're talking about climate change or loss of biodiversity, but also the structural issues around these problems and these environmental challenges that we face. And I feel that young people are an important part of the solution, especially in Africa but also in Asia, where majority of the population are young people, which means that those who suffer the most the consequences of environmental degradation and climate change are in fact young people. But these young people can also be and are already part of the solution to this environmental crisis through training, through formation, through networking and advocacy, and through promoting concrete initiatives, which are the three objectives that CYNESA works towards, can be important parts of this work. And we feel that bringing more young people on board, young Catholic young people, but also working in concert together with young people from other civil society organizations, from other faith communities, is a very important way of bridging the gap that exists in terms of fighting the problem of climate change and environmental degradation in general. I hope that one of the outcomes of this conference will be to come up with concrete lines of action which young people are taking and can take moving forward at different levels, at the local community level, at the national level, but also raising our voices at the international level and making sure that our voices as young people are also heard, as are those of other groups such as indigenous and women. And I feel that we have a great opportunity during this third anniversary of Laudato Si to reflect on what we can do even better and even more in the next 3 years that are coming. I was privileged to be here 3 years ago to prepare for the release of Laudato Si, and the last 3 years have, for me and for my organization, been very important because this document has shaped how we approach environmental concerns, how we bring young people on board, how we motivate and how we mobilize our communities to be responsible and to work towards, in a faith-based way, work towards resolving the environmental challenges that we face in Africa, but more broadly because we are part of the international community in other resolving the challenges in other parts of the world. I think 1 or 2 years after Laudato Si, I was part of a group invited by SECAM to reflect on how Laudato Si can inspire and can transform the work of SECAM in terms of issues of sustainable food security, but also how that is anchored in caring for creation and the environment. And so it's very important for us also to be working in concert with the local church and in the context where we find ourselves. And this is important for us as CYNESA, being an Africa-based network of young people, to work closely with the church in Africa through the umbrella body of the Bishop, SECAM, and to respond to these challenges together, working towards caring for creation and caring for bringing a better Africa for the current but also for future generations.